Welcome back to Tostones Gaming, y'all. It's your boy Will. We're back again, continuing the Snacks and Strats guide series, alright? If you're new to the channel, I've been doing a Tactics Ogre Let's Play using the One Vision mod, link down in the description. I've also been streaming Street Fighter, so you can catch me on more of my hype, trash talking moments. I'll link that in the description as well. But Snacks and Strats is basically providing additional guidance to improve your own game runs. And right now we're focusing on Tactics Ogre, and this video is going to be focusing on the Archer class. I did the Warrior class last time. I'll link that in the description as well. But today we're talking about Archers. And Archers are a little bit notorious throughout the series because whether you've played Tactics Ogre on the PSP, the PS1, or the SNES, you already know Archers have rocket launchers. They coat their little arrows in, I don't even know, Dark Phoenix fire mixed with Katniss Everdeen blood and a little pinch of Michael Bay explosions. And so anything they hit just completely just boom, poof, gone. But, you know, with the One Vision mod, things are a little bit differently. They behave more like a typical Archer historically would, which is to say, they're gonna be doing excellent damage against people who are not well protected, but if there's an enemy on the battlefield that has a super heavy armor on, obviously it's just gonna bounce right off of them. So what can I tell you about Archers beyond that? They are dex-based units, so if you've got one of your guys and his template leans more towards dex versus strength, you already know that's gonna be a great candidate for the Archer class, which leads me into the next topic of discussion. What can Archers do, you know? Well, as one of the first available classes in the game, they're able to equip bows, crossbows, daggers, and sidearms, and shields too. So they're primarily going to be long-range units. Now, they do have access to a TP skill when they have a dagger equipped, and that skill allows them to, for 20 TP, they can inflict bind on someone that gets a little too close. You know, they, feel me, they bop and weave, shank shank, boom, you're blind, you're not blinded, you're binded now, and you can't move. So that's great if you know, messed up your formation, if you've got a really big map and you just can't cover all angles, you decided to go a certain direction, your archer gets caught by themselves, you know, they've got that little last resort thing. They are weak to magic. They can't particularly take physical hits well either, but you know, their equipment provides them with a lot of avoidance, and if you position them correctly, you won't have to deal with many dangerous exchanges. So now, without further ado, let's get on to a couple of builds that I've got for you. So the first build I have today for you guys is So the first build for today, guys, is RSL. We've got her here as an archer, and you'll notice that we equipped her with a one-handed bow. First build of the day here is RSL. We've got her equipped with a one-handed bow. One-handed bows, they've got, you know, they're decent, but they don't have as much range, and, you know, they don't pack quite a punch. But on the flip side, you get access to a shield, and that bumps up your defense quite a bit and your avoidance. And you've got access to, this is one of the later items in the game, but it's basically a light vest, and gives you avoidance, a little bit of HP, and a little bit of defense. We've got some arm guards here to increase her dex rating, make sure that her hits are landing a little bit more often with overpower. And lastly, and it gives her some luck too for some critical hits. That's always nice. And then lastly, we've got the cat's earring, which is kind of like an end game thing as well. But if you don't have this, which provides a lot of defense and avoidance and, well, not defense really, dex. Dex, agility for accuracy, and avoidance and HP. If you don't have this, because you're new or you're kind of following along with me on my Let's Play, a Ring of Finesse or Seal of Finesse, that's going to do you justice. You know, can't go wrong with that. You can do Seal of Vigor, you know, bump up your defense a little bit, or you can do Seal of Evasion and get your avoidance going. So there's lots of options for you guys, but I went with this just cause. And then her skills, I've got a Art of War here, daggers, bows, augment lightning. I don't really know why I have all this stuff here. But yeah, so you guys get that picture. Another archer I've got here is our homegirl Cressida. I've got her set up a little bit differently. I've got the one-handed crossbow on her. Now this is also a late game bow, but it's one of the I forget what, a bolt caster. Yeah, there we go. It's a bolt caster, which means it only shoots in the 4 cardinal directions. So wherever you are, you can only shoot forwards, backwards, left, or right. There's no diagonal targeting. So you really gotta be a little bit more advanced, kind of be more self-aware of your positioning and things like that. But it hits like a truck. And then on the offhand, we have a Balder blowgun, which is a sidearm, and it inflicts silenced on hit. This is a good point to cut and talk about how archers have the Arts of War skill in their arsenal. Now, I have Cressida here equipped with a Balder blowgun, which can do silence, but I realize that's a little bit redundant because with Arts of War, she can just coat her arrowheads to inflict silence. And she can also do that, instead of silence, she can also inflict stun as well. So if you're running this setup, you should probably be using a different blow dart gun, maybe one that inflicts charm, or one that inflicts frighten. I know the frighten one is something that's later on in the game, and I think there's also one that inflicts full-blown stop as well. So I would definitely recommend using one of those blowguns, because it's a pretty good panic button, I would say, you know, especially if for whatever reason the enemy has already come within your bow range and, you know, you can no longer target them, or perhaps maybe you're binded for whatever reason, a mage got to you. You know, it's pretty good to have those options there until rescue arrives. So that's pretty good if we're able to flank our enemies, get close to a mage, you know, gotta do what we gotta do. The scout band here gives us a little bit more agility, a little bit of res, and quite a bit of luck actually. And then we've got our typical endgame light coat, and then another cat's earring as well. So let's get into a battle and see how these guys function. These are basically one-handed archers, essentially, right? Because we've got something different in their offhand for both of them. So some good synergy for the archer before we get into, you know, utter destruction over here is a sword master. I always start my battles with a sword master for the most part in my, you know, my master file. And we pop off a little lion dance here, grant strengthen and dodge to them. And what that's gonna do is, even with our one-handed setups, we're gonna be able to hit a little bit harder. And let's demonstrate the bolt caster right here. See, so we've got a ton of range, almost the entire map basically, with the exception of like height elevation differences. But look at that, and boom, we could hit him for a whopping 180 damage. So let's go ahead and do that. And then you'll see here, tremendous shot. It's basically just like the warrior equivalent. It allows us to get a free, basically guaranteed hit, and it's critical as well. But something I didn't mention in the last video is that parry and what? Fantastic. What I didn't mention in the last video is that parry and deflect and those kind of abilities, they will still offer a layer of protection. So it's not a universal guaranteed crit. And let's move in our cell over here. And we can do 200 to this man. 200. That's insane. And she's only got... It's only the one-handed bow, man. 76 attack. But we've got that strengthen, you know? So, it is what it is. Boom. 198. That guy's basically dead. Let's charge up a tremendous shot for later on in the battle. And before we forget... electric-based Valkyries make amazing partners for archers, and I'll show you why right now. Let's move her over here, and we're gonna go with Electrify right here. It's a TP spell, costs 30 MP, and it allows us to charge TP for other people. That's really good for, like, you know, every class, almost every class, I think, can use a free 50 TP, right? But for archers specifically, if you really want to make them efficient and kind of really good damage dealers, you're going to want to be able to constantly charge up their TP for a tremendous shot. Brief side note here, I want y'all to see just how good Swordmaster is, man. We're going to block that. Counter for 200 damage, and he's gonna do whatever the hell he's got to do here. I'm gonna block that, counter him for 300 damage. That's insane. That is insane. Another good partner to synergize with is your typical white mages that you're gonna have, especially early on in the game, and even probably till late game. You're gonna have a white mage, hit your archers with haste, and now they're gonna be moving a lot faster. Meanwhile, our Swordmaster over here is opening up opening up these guys, man. Oh my goodness. So we've already knocked out 400 HP from this guy. And over here, we've got a warrior that's got 383 defense. He's beefy, and he's already at half HP. Mind you, she is strengthened up, has tremendous shot already, and she's hasted. And all we need to do is boom, 327 damage. We've got enough for double shot next time. Let's go for it. Double shot is the other ability, I should add, that allows you to shoot twice in one turn. So with our Valkyrie here, we're going to continue softening up the opposition with a level 3 missile spell. And we're going to do over 100 damage to this guy. That's really the name of the game with archers. That's what they're best at, is really softening up the opponents, taking care of the squishies, making a dent in other people's HP. But if you've got a team that is supporting them well, like in this instance right here, our Swordmaster just bam opened up the field immediately. He empowered them with strengthen. Like, this guy is perfect for your archers. Now we're gonna use our double shot and just completely obliterate this poor archer over here, Ricard, for 200 damage the first time, 203 the second time. Now over here, you're gonna see RSL is only gonna do 72 damage to this guy, but it could be enough to kill him if our cards play out right. 73. All right, we don't get the crit, but you can kind of see the most common scenario is gonna be your archer's not gonna be doing a lot of damage. So here in this scenario, we've got a slightly different build. Instead of the shield, we've got her here with the dagger, because I want to try to show off the little binding finisher. And then with Cressida, we've got just a two-handed crossbow, but this is a regular crossbow, which allows us to, you know, aim in whatever direction we please. But if you'll notice over here, the RT is significantly, oops, if I can ever get to it, the RT delay is extremely high in comparison to the bolt caster, and that's because you just have more flexibility over here, even though our range is a little bit less. Crossbows also in general just have a better time dealing with uphill terrain, whereas your bows are sometimes not going to be able to quite cut it, even if you have a siege bow sometimes. So over here we're going to go with, I don't see any wizards on this map right now. I just see enemy archers. So what I'm going to do is load up our weapon with stun. And that's part of Art of War, which archers have access to. You can see we've got, she's got 217 avoidance, and she already dodged a couple of attacks. And her equipment, you know, we just have the dark coat and the cat's earring. So that's about 56 additional avoid. 217, that's not bad, man. You just missed 2 blows that could have really weakened her. You can see, look at our field of range, or range of field, or field of view. I don't know, I can't think today, but you can see the area that we have to fire is pretty massive. So on small maps, this is going to be amazing for your crossbow wielders. And I think it's probably more beneficial to stun archers. So let's do that. We got the lucky crit anyways, and we got the stun, which means she's basically done for the rest of the battle. We're going to move up confidently and turn. Look at this. You can't tell me that swordmasters aren't godlike, man. It's ridiculous. Perfect. Look at that. We stunned him with the knife counter attack because we have her equipped with counter hit. Yeah, counter hit 1. Stumbled immediately after, and she's safe. Let's get into the nitty gritty. So, why is Dead Anchor amazing? Because it inflicts lead-in and RT delay, which means that if you hit a flying unit with that, they're not going to be able to use their flying abilities anymore. They're going to be moving like a regular old Joe Blow from Kansas, you know? And they're going to be going even slower than normal. Morpheus, boom, you hit somebody, they're asleep, they're taking a nap, and they're gone for the rest of the damn match, alright? Unless a white mage comes and heals that off of them. Starfall is great because it inflicts damage to multiple targets in an area, and as you guys saw, Hobby Rim, our swordmaster, he was just opening up holes in that defense left and right. You saw that earlier. So Starfall is going to be great for picking off multiple enemies. And then Absolute Zero is one of my favorites. It inflicts Shackle. They basically can't even act. They can move around, end their turn, but they can't act at all. So basically what your bow finishers are going to be allowing your archers to do is really take control of the battle and turn the tide of the battle. With the daggers, if somebody gets too close, like I said, you've got the MP reset. I don't really think archers are going to be using that, if ever. You've got Mesmerize. This is great for a last minute, you know, panic move. But, you know, I don't know. It's dealer's choice, right? Do you want to charm them and hit them with damage? Or do you want to put them asleep with the bow? Like, I don't know. Sometimes you might be trapped in an area and you won't have the distance between you and them to land the bow finisher. So that's pretty good, I'd say. Then you've got double hit and overload, I'm sorry. And that's also an area finisher as well. Overall, I think the value of the dagger is this right here. You know, for 50 TP, you inflict bind on them, and then, you know, they're stuck there. You can reposition and get to safety, and if you've got a white mage, which you probably should already, you know, you'll be fine. You saw that right there, reflect magic. Let's play that back one more time. She dealt 81 damage to us, right? More or less, 79, but we hit her for 15 of that. So reflect damage and reflect magic, you know, you can pick your choice. I like doing reflect magic just because I know the mages are going to be targeting her most of the time, and 20% of the damage, you know, that all adds up. You saw in the last scenario, one of our dudes, one of these enemy lizard guys was left with 12 HP. You know, well, if I reflect magic and I hit a wizard for even if it's 15 damage, you know, that can make the difference in a fight. Alright, and for the last setup of the day, I've got for you guys over here two slightly different builds. So over here with RSL, we went with this lightning themed bow here. It's a two-handed bow, and the range is 6 to 10, so I believe it's a siege bow, but correct me if I'm wrong. It does give an agility penalty, which means that it's going to be harder for our hits to land, essentially. But check this out, we do have her with a heavy armor over here. It weighs 10. It's got 49 defense, 40 HP. Over here we have the armored Hakama, which are a side grade, I believe, to one of the leggings. They give us back a little bit of agility that we lost due to that penalty. They give us some nice avoid. And they give us a deflect, which is going to be helpful for archer versus archer scenarios. And then we've got the seal of vigor here to boost our defense just a little bit more. I've actually never tried an archer like this. This is pretty beefy. 344 defense, 329 magic defense. Considering our white mage, you know, his defense is 352. And a 344, that's not bad. Just like average, I'd say. And then over here, we've got a one-handed crossbow again, but we've got a shield equipped on her. We've got the armored Hakama as well, and we've got the Agonista light coat and cat earrings, of course. Look at her avoid though, 283, and then her defense and magical defense aren't too bad as well. So archers can be, I don't know what Rix did between a couple patches ago and now, or maybe I just learned how to play the game a little better. But is that the train again? Also, I should note, there's another skill I have on her this time. It is Eagle Eye. It's one of the signature traits of archers as well, and it allows you to grant true flight and sidestep to allies in the area. So that's going to allow your dudes to not only move out of the way, but also increase accuracy on ranged moves, and it works in an area. They just need 40 TP. Awesome, guys. So here we've got a couple of mages. We've got a white mage, we've got a wizard, and we've got our ninja here, which is going to hopefully synergize well with our troops, with our archers. Perfect, taking the bait. Boom, look at that. We just took out some MP, and she's not going to be able to heal. And she's going to take 130 to the face. And then we're just going to Eagle Eye. Make sure all our archers are winning. And we're going to end turn. Now Itachi over here is going to be fantastic because you can do something like Torinko and put this guy to sleep. And now she's not even a threat anymore. So you can really use ninjas to your advantage by putting mages to sleep. Once they flank around the side and catch up to them, by then they'll have counter hit a couple of people along the way because their avoidance is so high. They'll be scot-free, or they might have taken a hit, unfortunately. Either way, they'll have enough TP to use Torinko. This guy gets put to sleep, and now a potentially dangerous mage that could have taken out your archer is no longer a threat. And that allows your archers to focus on other more important targets, help your knights and your warriors and berserkers, etc. take more control of the battlefield. So over here we've got Aracel with the Suzumebachi. And we're gonna hit Randwolf over here for pretty decent damage. We're not gonna do any double shotting or tremendous shotting this time. Instead, we're gonna move over here. It's our ninja's next turn, and we can do a couple of things. We can either get rid of this guy's MP and do a critical, apparently. And we can put him asleep as well. What that allows us to do now is basically let our archers completely take control of this battle. So what I'm gonna do with her stocked up TP is we're gonna do let's see here. This berserker is a pretty big problem. He's basically within the way of our archers, and he can deal some pretty insane damage. So we're just gonna remove him from the equation altogether with a crossbow finisher. And I didn't go over this earlier in the video, but crossbows are pretty amazing for our archers as well. Let me pull them up right here. With crossbows, you've got Brimstone Hail, which is basically the nuclear bomb of vanilla. You use this, it's an area, it's an area finisher, and it's just insane. But in this one, it just hits one person and it stuns them. Next, you've got Rivet, which inflicts bind, and then you've got Quill Rain, which, much like the bolt casters, it's gonna do, or like actually if you're familiar with FFT and Earth Slash move on the monks, something very similar to that. And then you've got Sanctus Flare, which literally petrifies an opponent, turns them into stone, and they're done for the rest of the battle. So that's exactly what we're gonna do here to this berserker who is way too close to us. Bada beam, bada boom. Send him to the heavenly light. And now he is no longer in this fight, ladies and gentlemen. So because our ninja, lullabied this guy to sleep with some, Killer Bob Ross vibes, or maybe it was Mr. Roger vibes, whatever the lullaby it was that he sang or whispered into his ear, this guy is done. And our ninja can now go over here, move his full range, use Wild Hunt to then move again. And then we're gonna go to this archer over here, and we are going to, let's try to shackle this guy with our parrying knife. Alright, we don't get the shackle, that's fine. And let's say we did get the shackle on that archer. Now we've got Aracel over here who can do something like, let's see, does she want to shackle someone else? Maybe we want to put someone else to sleep. Or maybe we want to let in, let's see, which is the wizard guy, the lizard guy that goes next? This guy, right? So hopefully we let in him and his turn order gets changed. Yep, and look at that. All of a sudden, he is now delayed a turn and leadened. And just like that, we took control of the battle. They're both doing excellent damage, and I don't even have them powered up, right? Like with the Swordmaster last time, they were kind of like going nuclear for a second. This time, it's more tactical, and they still do decent damage. And, we've got this wizard taking a nap. This guy is supposedly shackled, but he's not. And then this guy is leadened, which allows everyone else on the team to basically clean up. So archers are definitely going to be one of your super strong support units. They're going to be chipping the enemy down, or they're going to be helping you take control of the battle by removing problem children off the map. So final thoughts. Well, like the warriors, they're really good support units, I'd say. Where the warriors shine in either damage or spreading around breached and kind of helping whittle down your opponents. I think the archers have that in common as well, but archers with the power of the bow, specifically, I'd say, they can do a lot of destruction on the field. I mean, really, it's not about the damage, but it's about how can they support your other units. You can put people to sleep. You can take people out of the game if you're using a crossbow and you've got the petrify finisher unlocked. You know, you can load up your arrows with the power to stun people or silence people. You know, that's what they are. They're really good disruptors. That's what I say the archers are. Really good disruptors. They just support your front line or your damage dealers. And really, they can hold their own, man. I mean, you give them a little dagger and a one-handed bow, all of a sudden, they're out here inflicting bind on people that get too close, that get past your front line. I think they're good. They're one of my favorite units in the game. Even still, to this day. And yeah, I recommend you use them 100%. And like I said, to go over, I think they synergize well with a Valkyrie or Fencer or Rune Knight, whatever you want to call them. Someone that can help them charge their TP, because they're super reliant on that TP. And the sooner they can get it, the sooner you can start raining destruction on the field. I think they synergize really well with ninjas as well, because if you pair a ninja up with them, the ninja is kind of gonna take more, you know, they're gonna take the spotlight in the sense, and the AI is gonna want to attack the ninja, like, oh, this guy's all the way over here, let's get him. And while he's distracting, the archer's gonna stay nice and healthy. And then who else did we say synergize well? If you have the ninja, and the swordmaster, of course. Swordmaster just loads them up with that plus attack. Swordmaster actually accomplishes the same thing as the ninja. You know, they're kind of a midfield distraction, but where they differ is that the ninja is going to be flanking, and he's going to be taking the attention of mages, whereas the swordmaster is going to be in the heat of the moment, out there just blowing holes, submarines going down, ships are sinking, airplanes are falling. Y'all already saw the damage just off counters alone, and that's gonna allow not only your archers to step in and help on the damage, it's also gonna allow your whole team to kind of function more smoothly. So there you have it, folks. Those are my thoughts on the archer. Stay tuned. Next time it's gonna be the Rune Fencer, Valkyrie, Rune Knight. I don't even know what we're calling them these days. But that's the next one on the list. And yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know if I missed something or if I incorrectly stated something down in the comments below. And yeah, man, I'm hoping to improve the quality on this. I want to have some little transition screens and nail the structure down a little bit more. To make it a better experience for you guys. But yeah, stay tuned. We're going to be uploading more Tactics Ogre real soon, and I'll catch you guys next time. Later.